A lot of people hate rose fragrances, and I used to be one of them. So I'm gonna rank my 10 most complimented rose fragrances from least to greatest. This list is going to have 5 designer fragrances, 3 Middle Eastern fragrances, and 2 niche fragrances. I literally wear everything. Let's get started. This last scent is gonna be a rose fragrance for anyone who doesn't like rose fragrances, because this honestly leans more as a fruity floral with a very mass appealing kind of vibe, as opposed to a very strong rose dominant scent. And I'm talking about Coach Wild Rose. So when I first smelled this fragrance, I was a little bit confused because Coach Wild Rose, as I mentioned, almost has no rose in it. Like, it's there, but it's a more of a modern take on a rose, meaning it's done in a very muted way. It's very, very, very juicy. And it's definitely not a fragrance that I would consider a floral. I would consider it a fruity scent that has some rose in it to elevate it, but the fruit is really kind of what hits you in the face. And I think that's why this is so mass appealing. I always describe this scent as what I would imagine Blair and Serena from Gossip Girl to wear on their way to tennis practice. They smell good. It's an easy everyday scent, but they also smell like they come from a little bit of money. So notes for Coach Wild Rose. This is gonna open up with red currant, bergamot. In the heart, you get rose and jasmine sambanc, and the base is moss and ambroxan. If you are someone who says, I absolutely hate rose scents, I could never have them in my fragrance, they're way too strong, they're way too floral, check out Coach Wild Rose. Don't let the name scare you. It's not at all an overly strong rose. It is definitely meant to be mass appealing, and the likelihood of you liking it is high. Next up, we have another scent from Coach. This one I would say also has huge mass appeal, but with a bit more rose, at least to my nose. We're talking about Coach Love. I love Coach Love. So I do TikTok lives at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I sell a lot of Middle Eastern and designer and some niche fragrances. And fun fact, Coach Love is always in either the #1 or #2 spot for the most sold Coach fragrance. This is very, very well liked. So Coach Love only has 3 notes listed. It's gonna open up with wild strawberry, you get the rose in the heart, and the base dries down to cedarwood. Other sites have other notes listed, but this is all that Coach actually has listed on their official site. So similar to the Coach Wild Rose, this is a very juicy rose in my opinion, because it's really interwoven with that opening of the wild strawberry, but I smell more rose in this fragrance than the Coach Wild Rose. The rose note is more dominant to me, even though it is still done in a very likable, mass appealing kind of way. I always like to describe this as my Belle from Beauty of the Beast scent. It gives more of a romantic vibe, that classic, traditional, girly, little bit of rose, little bit of sweetness, little bit of dry wood in the dry down kind of scent profile. You're like, okay, I tried out Coach Wild Rose, I'm trying out some rose scents and I'm beginning to like them a little bit more and more, but I'm still not a crazy rose fanatic. I wanna make sure that this scent is not gonna be, too rose heavy. I still wanna get a lot of compliments. I still want it to be, very popular with the masses. Definitely check out Coach Love. It's a step above Coach Wild Rose in the rose department, but again, it's done in a very easy to wear, everyday type of scent profile. Our next fragrance is going to be another designer fragrance, but this one is technically a rosé scent, and it's from the lovely Carolina Herrera. This is 212 VIP Rosé or VIP 212 Rosé. I don't know which order the words are supposed to be in, but this is the fragrance. This one is a very, very bubbly, girly. I'm going out to brunch with my girls with my heels. Maybe it is the spring or summertime, and I want to smell elegant and classy and beautiful, but still have some sweetness to me so that people like my smell when they come across me. That is the vibe of this scent. It smells so good. It has almost a fizzy, bubbly, refreshing quality to it, just the way that it was constructed. It's not as deep and as strong as most fragrances. Not strong as in projection, but strong as in the rose note, because it's a rosé. It is on the lighter, paler side that I think a lot of people will gravitate towards. Notes for 212 VIP Rosé are, it's gonna open up with a champagne rosé note, followed by pink pepper. In the heart, you get peach, tree flower, bouquet of roses, and the base is queenswood and musk. This is for anyone who wants a sweet, bubbly, refreshing, rosé, champagne-y. I picture this as like a daytime fun scent. Again, some kind of beautiful sundress is what comes to my mind, but of course you can wear it whenever. But it's a really, really lovely one. I don't quite understand the packaging. I'm not sure if it's supposed to mimic a champagne bottle, maybe, I don't know. But what is cool about these is that they have the magnetic cap And that's all I need to be sold on a fragrance. Next up, we have our first Middle Eastern fragrance of the list. And of course, it's from Lattafa. You know, Lattafa never sleeps, guys. And this is a more of a lactonic, milky rose fragrance. I am talking about Noble Blush from the Bade Al Oud line. So this has a really, really nice creamy milkiness to it that I think makes it unique from a lot of other, you know, rose scents that I have tried out. It has been compared a bit to Delina, and I can kind of see maybe where people are getting that from because, you know, they both have rose in them. But I really think that this is quite different from Delina. Even though it's milky, it's not to me like as milky as some fragrances, like maybe like a Blanche Bed or Commodity Milk, but it has that smoothness in it. It's kind of like a rose milk bath. Like if you were to fill up a bathtub with milk and soak roses and petals in there for hours and then add a bit of sweetness to it and go smell it, I feel like that's what Noble Blush is giving. So notes for Noble Blush. This is gonna open up with rose milk. In the heart, you're gonna get meringue and almond. And the base is going to be vanilla, sandalwood, and musk. Even though it has technically some gourmandy notes to it, like the vanilla, the almond, I don't think that this falls into a gourmand territory. It's not overly sweet. The almond does give it a bit of nuttiness, but it's not, to me, too strong like in other gourmand kind of fragrances. And the vanilla really just kind of helps to overall smooth it out, but it's not crazy heavy. I really think that the rose in the milk component is the star of the show here. So definitely want to check out if you're looking for something that is going to be a bit more milky and lactonic. Noble Blush will be your girl. Next up, we go back to our designer family. We are going to be talking about a scent that is very mass appealing, which is surprising because its predecessor is very polarizing. I am talking about Angel Nova from the House of Mugler. So Angel Nova, when I first sprayed it and smelled it, I was like, what the hell is this? What is this? Because it is called Angel Nova. So I was really expecting it to smell something like its mom, the original Angel by Mugler, but this could not be any more different. The original Angel is, you know, a very risky scent, a very polarizing scent. You either love or hate it. Angel Nova is like, all right, we've already done the artsy fartsy, you know, unique scent making. Now let's just make a really nice scent that is gonna be mass appealing to most people where they're gonna love it. And Angel Nova was born. So this is a very fruity rose scent. I have heard comparisons of this to Delina. And again, I can kind of see what they mean because again, they both have rose, but I do think it takes a stronger, fruitier path than Delina does. Notes for Angel Nova. This is gonna open up with raspberry. In the heart, you get damask rose, and the base is a Kagila wood. At least those are all the notes that Mugler has posted on the site. Damask rose is known to be more of a softer take of a rose. It's not usually super heavy in fragrance. And I think that is one of the reasons why this is so mass appealing and easy to wear, is because it's not going to, you know, overwhelm you with rose. I think it's more going to overwhelm you with the raspberry, which is interwoven with that rose note. I think this is a really long lasting fragrance if you're someone who's looking for a strong, fruity, floral type of scent with rose and fruit. Harder to find a stronger, more projecting, longer lasting one than Angel Nova. It's gorgeous. Again, very well liked, and would make a perfectly fine signature scent for anyone who likes that type of scent profile. Next up, we have our first fragrance from the lovely brand Kayali. Now, is Kayali considered designer, niche, Middle Eastern? What is it? I have no idea, but they make some great fragrances. And this one that I'm about to talk about is one that even my husband, when he first smelled it, was like, ooh, that's really good. We're talking about Fleur Majesty Rose Royale. First of all, hello packaging. I love me a good gradient, and this one is absolutely gorgeous. So Rose Royale, when my husband smelled this, I believe he said that it reminded him of something that he has smelled before in his childhood growing up in like the backyard. Like it has a really nice, fresh kind of rose scent and like plant scent to it that I think is really done well. And it does have like a queen vibe to me. Like it's very elegant. It's not as, for example, if I had to compare it to Angel Nova is more playful, fun every day. This is more of like a, I don't know, I'm an elevated, classy, rose smelling fragrance that just smells quite nice. So notes for Fleur Majesty Rose Royale. This is gonna open up with juicy pear, sweet peach, rose, pink peony, violet wood, and purple musk. Like most of the scents on this list, I would consider this to be one of those that you can wear year round. It is absolutely gorgeous and one of Kayali's better creations in my opinion. So this next one is by far my favorite rose scent from Lattafa. And this is one that Steven from Redolescence himself labeled as the most seductive perfume from Lattafa. And we are talking about Ana Abiyedh Scarlet. I would say definitely so far in this list, it's the most seductive. And I think it's because it takes on more of a dark type of scent profile as opposed to the others that can be very fun, playful, everyday, bright cherry. This is like nighttime vibes. And so the nighttime vibe with the rose really helps to lean into that kind of seductive quality. So notes for Ana Abiyedh Scarlet. This is gonna open up with black cherry, pink pepper, white rose in the heart, peony, tonka bean, nutmeg, and the base is patchouli, crystal caramel sugar, and vanilla. I think it's an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous scent. Very sweet, but still you get that white rose. You get a lot of the black cherry, which I really like. The black cherry does not smell like, you know, what people typically associate cherry with, which is usually cough syrup or something medicinal. I don't think it gives me that kind of vibe. It just smells like a dark cherry that's not too overly sweet or tart. Mixed in with the rose and then the nice dry down to a bit of that vanilla, I just think it's quite lovely. If you're looking for a darker, sexier, more seductive rose to try out, I would definitely check out Ana Abiyedh Scarlet. Our next Middle Eastern fragrance is from Rayhaan, and this one is actually inspired by a Louis Vuitton fragrance, Atrap Reves, and it is so close. The original one might be a little bit better, but this is so close that for most people, it's gonna justify not spending, you know, close to $1,000 on most Louis Vuitton fragrances. And I'm talking about Rayhaan Divine. This is such a well-made scent, in my opinion. I'm honestly shocked at how good of a job they did with this, how smooth it is, how elegant it is, how it's not too overly punchy. It's quite nice. This to me just smells like a beautiful woman. I think Louis Vuitton fragrances are good at making scents that are mass appealing, but to me, unique. Because before the dupes and the clones, there weren't other fragrances that I would say smelled exactly like the Louis Vuitton fragrances. And I had never smelled anything that smells like Atrap Reves. This has, believe it or not, this has a chocolate note in it, in the base. But the chocolate, while it adds a nice level of warmth and depth to the fragrance, it's not too loud. It never becomes overly gourmand. It still stays in this fresh, bright, airy, elegant, pretty lady kind of scent profile, but with a bit of warmth from chocolate. And I think the way that they've done it is just so interesting and lovely. So notes for Rayhaan Divine. So Rayhaan Divine is going to open up with lychee, bergamot, and ginger. In the heart, you get peony, rose, and vanilla. And the base is a chocolate accord with patchouli. The patchouli is not too overly done. I really feel like all of these notes are blended together very well, that none of them come out as screechy to me. I wouldn't point it as just rose or just peony or just bergamot. Like even the ginger is very, very like soft as opposed to being very sharp like in other fragrances that open up with ginger. They can come off very spicy. Not this one. The way that they've done all of the notes in this scent are very well blended together, and they make just one smooth, elegant, bright, airy, fresh, gorgeous kind of scent profile that I think is beautiful. Definitely one to check out if you wanna, you know, see what a Louis Vuitton fragrance smells like, but save a hell of a lot of money. Check out Divine by Rayhaan. Next up, we have a fragrance that I can't show you the bottle of because I recently finished my decant, and that decant lasted me for months because this is such a beast fragrance. I am talking about Impadia by BDK. So Impadia is one of the best creations out of the house of BDK, in my opinion. It has been on my wish list for quite a while. When I was sampling a lot of different BDK scents, I narrowed it down to two, and it was between Gris Charnel and Impadia, and I ended up picking the Gris Charnel because it's just so unique. And while Impadia was gorgeous, I just needed the more unique scent in my collection. But it will definitely be added to the collection as soon as financially possible. Impadia has been described as if Delina and Amouage Guidance were to have a baby, you would get Impadia. And I think that that is actually a pretty close description. It is very, very strong. It is very, very rosy, but it's also very, very complex and sweet and just interesting and beautiful and elegant, very, very flirty. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Notes for BDK Impadia. So this is gonna open up with pear, Italian bergamot, Italian mandarin. In the heart, you get Bulgarian rose, Turkish rose, African orange flower, and the base is a kagila wood, vanilla absinthe, absolute sandalwood and praline. So it's fruity, but it's sweet, but it's rosy. I mean, you get two different kinds of rose in here. Like, it is a powerhouse of a scent. Would absolutely serve as a wonderful, wonderful signature type of scent. You don't have to overspray this one. Again, it will last you forever. She is absolutely gorgeous. If you want to check something out in the niche category, Impadia, in my opinion, is one of the better ones. So finally, in the #1 spot for me, I feel like this scent is one that people like, but maybe don't always consider a rose scent. I'm not sure. And it might surprise some people, but I think it is so gorgeous. I don't know if I'm having recency bias because this was a new addition to my collection, but I am in love with this scent. We are talking about Mancera Instant Crush. So I was fortunate enough to be able to smell this at a TikTok event, believe it or not. I've tried out a bunch of Mancera fragrances. Some are hits, some are misses. And this was love at first sniff for me. Absolutely gorgeous. I made a video recently talking about Middle Eastern fragrances that smell designer. They don't smell like a Middle Eastern scent. This to me has such a Middle Eastern type of vibe to it that I think is absolutely gorgeous and so unique in this scent profile. I've heard this scent be compared a lot to Baccarat Rouge 540. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm crazy. I can kind of see why people would say that because of the saffron predominantly, but I think that the Mancera, in comparison to the Baccarat Rouge 540, Mancera takes on, again, more of a Middle Eastern kind of vibe. And it has rose, which, unless I'm mistaken, Baccarat Rouge 540 does not have any rose. And I think Baccarat Rouge 540 is also sweeter, whereas this one I get more woods and sandalwood. I get more of a sweet saffron in Baccarat Rouge 540. So I can see them being in the same family. Like, if you like one, I think you'll like the other, but I do not consider Instant Crush to be a clone or a dupe of Baccarat 540. Personally. Baccarat Rouge 540 is one of my favorite all-time scents, so maybe I'm just sensitive to people saying that this smells like that. But yeah, I don't think so, but definitely similar. So notes for Instant Crush. This is gonna open up with citrus fruit, saffron, ginger. In the heart, you get rose from Morocco, Egyptian jasmine, and amber. And the base is gonna be sandalwood, oak moss, vanilla, and white musk. This to me is the perfect fall or springtime kind of scent. You know what song comes to my brain when I think of this fragrance? I am a Swiftie. I love me some Taylor Swift. She's my favorite woman in the whole world, okay? And she has a song called All Too Well, where she's talking about how Jake Gyllenhaal broke her heart. That's why we hate Jake Gyllenhaal. But anyways, she's talking about how it's autumn and how she left his scarf there. And for whatever reason, I picture her wearing Mancera Instant Crush in that scene. Not too overly sweet, elegant, has some backbone to it, a little bit woodsy, walking along during fall, wearing a scarf with one of your first loves who's about to completely break your heart. That is Instant Crush for me. It is gorgeous. So that is my list for today, guys. Let me know which of these you have tried out, which are some of your favorite rose scents, and which ones you are most looking forward to adding to your shopping cart.